So today I'm going to be doing a spoiler-free review on the novel The Girls by Emma Cline. I already returned it to the library, but I did take some notes on how I feel about the book, so let's get into it. This novel is loosely based on the Charles Manson murders in Hollywood. So if you're unfamiliar with them, there were a series of 9 murders that occurred in 4 different locations within the span of 9 weeks in the summer of 1969. I've seen quite a few documentaries about these murders prior to reading this novel. You definitely see the similarities in terms of the cult leader Charles Manson and the leader in this novel, who is Russell, as well as the type of followers that tend to generate with this kind of group, or this kind of charismatic leader who is also very manipulative in the way that he grooms these girls and these women to do everything that he asks them. The novel is told through the point of view of Evie, who was a part of this cult in the summer of 1969. Had obviously many years to self-reflect on all of her actions and the legacy that these murders ended up having. This is not at all a thriller. It is not fast-paced by any means. So if source material kind of makes it seem like it would be a gripping and a suspenseful thriller or anything like that, it's extremely slow-paced. It's much more of a character-driven novel. You really get inside of Evie's mind, and it's extremely slow. And it's very beautifully written, by the way. So I don't mind that slow pace of it. However, at the very end, the climax of the story, I do feel like the book lacks something. Like it's so slow that only a couple pages are dedicated to the actual murders, or even just how Evie feels post the events that happened, because you're not really sure what part Evie took in it. Like, she doesn't say in the very beginning, like, I killed these people. So you don't know whether she was a witness to it, or she committed something herself, or anything like that. So I just feel like the ending was a little bit rushed. Also something to keep in mind, that although it does go into the mind of these characters, a lot of the emphasis isn't really on the Manson family, or Russell's family in this case, in this novel, but more so the way that women and girls are kind of conditioned throughout life to be second-class citizens to men, like to be subservient to them. It's so interesting to see how subtly they're manipulated and how much they're yearning for acceptance. To see how these girls are being groomed to kind of live off of every little bit of attention that Russell gives them. And it's very interesting because in some ways it's very subtle, and other ways the manipulation is quite clear. As a reader, and even to Evie herself, because Evie's not stupid, she's a very observant person, but somehow she still gets sucked into this way of living. Because a lot of these girls, young girls, are nomads, they're hippies, they're runaways. They all have this like common thread that ends up leading them to Russell and his farm. So I would give this book 4 stars. If it were not for the ending, I would have absolutely loved it. It's still very beautifully written, almost kind of poetic in a way. I know I've heard some comparisons about it being very similar to the Virgin Suicide, the Virgin Diaries or the Virgin Suicides? I mean, I've read the book and seen the movies, but I just can't remember which one it was. I've seen some comparisons, both positively and negatively, to that novel. So these are my thoughts on this novel, and thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Bye. So today I'm going to be talking about the books that I read for the month of June. I read roughly 5 or 6, so let's start in no particular order. I finished up Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, and I did put up a discussion video on it, and I love it. I love Harry Potter books, and I'm really enjoying rereading the series once again for like the 100th time. I also